Welcome back to an episode of Message and Call. As a Scrum Master, as a coach, you are tasked of getting your team or getting individuals together to build a team. Software development is no longer a silo or a solo single process, right? So we have individuals coming together working as a team. So it's a team game and not an individual game. Or wait a minute, it's a team sports and not an individual sports. It's not like tennis. Well, sometimes you play doubles in tennis. Well, that's a team then, right? So let's talk about that. What are the things that you could do? Well, you could maybe do something like, speed dating, or you can have them sitting together side by side for a long time. Hopefully, they'll learn from each other. They'll pick up cues about each other. They'll learn to trust. But are there any other faster way? So here's one that is fun to try, and I've done this before. It's called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI. Now, I've done this multiple times in my career. In the past, a long time ago, you actually have to pay for it. It's not free. You get the professionals in, you take the test, and then it comes to results, and there is an instructor to guide you through the results that you have. Now, we've done that as well, and I think it's very valuable. If you have the money for it, I would suggest that you actually go and do that. Now, what happens if you don't have the money for it? Are you out of luck? Well, luckily, today in this digital world, there is something that you can do, and it's free. I think it's called 16personalitiestetype.com or something like that. I'll share the link here. It's free, it's fun, and it's quick. Take a couple minutes to answer the questions, and you get the results. It's a personalized results to how you answer the questions, right? So, Myers-Briggs, what I do like about it, well, let's make sure that I don't, make sure that I'm saying the right thing. Now, this is a book that you get if you pay for it. So on here, what the test does is this. The test show you, I think, correctly about 4 different things. So the first one is, where do you get the energy? So that's, kind of whether you're introvert or extrovert. Then the second one is, how do you prefer to take information in? And that's something that I do really like, because it allows us to look into ourselves and say, okay, what is my way of taking information? How do I like my information to come to me, right? And then there is the third one is basically, how do you make decisions? How do I make decisions? And then the fourth one is, how do you deal with the outer world? Are you perceiving or are you judging? So 4 different things to look at. You basically get 4 different letters. This is mine. What it does allow me to do is allow me to understand myself on these 4 different things and how I will react. This is my normal tendency. Now, I've taken this test multiple times, and could be that the way I answer the questions, but it consistently being very similar or the same. I've used this test for kind of as fun, right? I've seen my daughter, who's 15 years, take it just for the fun of it and have a conversation about it. So think about the aspect of the number one, it being fun. Have your team members take it. Have everybody on your team take it. And I've had the whole organization in terms of department, the whole engineering department take it before. And it allows me to, a Scrum Master coach, to look inside and see what individuals are like. I've actually did the test for everybody, had them take the test, and then publish the results, the letters itself in and share them on a site or a team site. So everybody kind of knows who they are. One thing is nice is that once you understand how other people take information, how they're different from you, and how they perceive and how they get their energy, you will then understand how to work with them. It's one thing it does remind you that it's not an excuse because you're introvert that you get to behave in a certain way. That's not an excuse, right? Don't use it as an excuse. But it's a great for you to understand, for me to understand, if hey, that person, the way that for me, for example, is that I may be talkative in this instance on this video in a specific session, but at the end of the day, I want to be left alone. I I want to have a quiet moment. I want to go home. I want to be sit around. I don't want to talk to anybody because that's how I regenerate my energy, right? And it's not a bad thing. This is how I am. I don't like to go up to gatherings, for example, where there's a lot of people. I feel really awkward doing so. So that's something nice for you to think about, right? How does individuals get the energy? The other part is how do they get information? An example that I've in my past is that I was trying to introduce new concept to this one team. I was trying to introduce mob programming, and interesting enough is there was a mobbing effect where the team was pushing back on this new idea, even to the extent of just it's an experiment to go try. They would not want to do it because it was outside of their comfort zone. It took me a while to understand why, but once when I look at the data, look at the Myers-Briggs type, it showed that everyone on that team, it just happened, everyone on that team were of the same specific type. So that gives me an aha moment. Is this mobbing effect where because everybody's in this specific way of doing things, then it multiplies, right? The good become greater, the bad becomes worse. So this is an instance where for me it was a opening mindset. Okay, let me try a different approach. I think it took me a while to get to the point where I understand the dynamics and figuring out ways of getting them or exposing them to trying it out. And they did eventually try it out, right? So that leads me to understand that I think there is a great opportunity to have a very diverse team members with different types on there. I think each individuals will come in with their differences, and then I would say a complement, right? You complement the weaknesses with somebody else's strength. I think that will give you the best bet for what we call a great team. How to get a team from good to great? I think that's one of the components. The other part is by understanding more of your team members, you are essentially building trust. So I think it's a quick way, it's a quick, fun way to do it. Give it a try. Let me know the results. Bye.